Hey there, everybody. It's Kelly Filetto and with the Grit, Guts, and Courage show. And today I have a very special guest. Her name is Cheryl. And in this show, we talk to people who have had some sort of situation or a story or something that's happened to them and how they've overcome it. So, welcome, Cheryl.
Oh, thank you, Kelly. I am thrilled to be here with you.
Good. Well, I'm so excited to hear from you because we haven't talked about what your story of grit, guts, and courage is. So we're just going to jump right in. And so just go for it. Tell us your story.
Well, my first story of grit, guts, and courage started about 30 years ago. And I was into a 13-year marriage with an abusive, he was mentally and emotionally abusive alcoholic, and had two small children. And one night he scared the daylights out of me when he punched me in the chest 3 times. I was terrified. I ran for the phone, called the police, and he ran out of the house and the police came. And I knew my life would never be the same. And it's hard to leave a marriage when I had a part-time job where I could be, at home for when the kids left for school, and then I could be home for when they got home from school. And I knew if I left, that had to change. And so it was the beginning of the end. I got the support that I needed, and I continued on, and I really built a life for myself. It was not easy. I mean, I felt completely lost. I felt so much relief after I left, and I felt completely lost. And I discovered spirituality through that. I was on the beach with a friend. I was living on Vancouver Island, and she was doing some kind of kinesiology healing on me. And she kept saying, it's this person, it's that person. And then suddenly I'm laying there and I feel this huge ball of white light and the most intense love I had felt in my life hovering above me. And somehow I knew it was my deceased brother, Brian, who had taken his life a year before that, just over a year before that. And finally she said, it's your brother. And then she'd never channeled anybody. And he spoke to me through her. She channeled him. And his message was to start meditating, because I had recently just gone on antidepressants because I discovered that I was depressed probably for many years through that marriage. And so I started meditating, and I got off the antidepressants that they said I would be on for the rest of my life. And my life just kept getting better and better. I went back to school. My spiritual journey continued on and on and on. And here I am 30 years later with my own spiritual school, teaching my programs, helping others heal and become empowered, heal and really step into the greatness of their being, which is currently unimaginable.
Oh my God, that's so exciting. What a great story. I can relate to you on a few different levels. And yeah, so I was hit by my husband too. So I totally get that feeling. And I vowed that that would be the last time. So yeah, so good on you for getting out of it, because there's so many people that just stay.
Yeah, it's true. And I think there's something in us where that's it, that's the bottom. And that was my bottom. It sounds like it was your bottom. I could not go any lower than that, because I knew if he did it once, he would do it again. It took him 13 years in that marriage, came close, maybe, I don't know, but that was it for me. And we both got help. And so life has only improved ever since then. Sure, I've had trials and tribulations. I've had some pretty scary things happen that still took courage. I almost died in a near fatal car accident at the top of a mountain in Uganda after seeing the mountain gorillas. That was grit, guts, and courage. And I stayed, and pursued and healed my own trauma from that and carried on. I think when we have something like that, when we hit our bottom and we find a way out, we develop that momentum of we become sort of invincible in that, okay, it's just in us. I'm going to find my way out. I'm going to get through this somehow.
Right. No, absolutely. And that's what it's all about. What did you do to get through it?
What did I do to get through it? I went for therapy. I went for group therapy, and I saw a counselor one-on-one. And I have to say, it was meditation that helped me the most, because it was my own energy patterns within me, all the energy that was stuck, different energy patterns within me that started in the womb, and that created energy patterns that made me stay in that relationship. And so I started healing myself. That's what helped me the most. I didn't stay with a counselor that long, and I didn't stay in the group therapy for all that long. It was really the meditations. And then I started practicing shamanism, and I found I kept healing and healing and healing. And then later on, I realized healing is not enough. We need empowerment as well. So it's healing and empowerment. And so I still do all of that today. And that's what I teach.
That's so amazing. Okay, so what would you tell someone going through the same thing as you? So there's a young lady that's really struggling. She's in a toxic marriage, and she just doesn't know how to get out. And it's just not the best life for her. And she knows she wants out, but she's not sure how to do it. So what would you tell her?
I would say staying is a result of an energy pattern within you. And I would say you don't deserve this. It's really not your fault. You did nothing wrong. Because so often we think, well, if I just tried harder, if I just did a better job. And so I would say it's not your fault. You did nothing wrong. You don't deserve this. And to know that there is hope, and you can step out of this and never, ever let that happen again. It's a matter of taking that first step. And when you make that conviction to yourself that, okay, I'm changing, and you just stay in that, you don't have to know what it looks like. And the universe will support you. If you stay in your conviction that no matter what, you will find your way.
That's fantastic. I love it. Okay, so what is the gift in that situation happening to you?
What is the gift in that situation is resilience, And one of it's resilience, and knowing that all the greatest things in my life, all the biggest changes involve some sort of fear. And I can just state, in so many instances, I have been scared. And it's when I allow myself to feel that fear and let it move through me, that I naturally move into a different state. I become confident and courageous, and have this inner knowing that somehow I'm going to do whatever it is, or I'm going to become whomever that is, or it's going to work out. So it's that resilience and knowing that fear. I've been doing this 30 years, a lot of different types of spiritual practices, energy healing, all sorts of things, acupressure, and fear still pops up. It's normal. And so it's just learning to feel that and do it anyway. Susan Jeffers wrote the book, feel the fear and do it anyway.
I was just thinking about that book when you mentioned that, because that book actually helped me leave my marriage. When I read that book, I actually only read the first 20 pages. And I was like, okay, I get it. I know why it took me so long to leave my 24-year marriage. And it was because you don't know what's going to be on the other side, and you don't know if you can handle it. And that was what it was. It was like I realized my whole adult life I was with my husband. And so I didn't know if I'd be able to make it on my own as a single mom. So, but yeah, just reading the first 20 pages, I was able to figure it out. It's like, okay, I get it. I can handle it.
I hear you. And one of the things you probably will remember the image in there, there's an image of a plane, an airplane going from point A to point B. It has its destination. And even with a plane, It's never a straight line. We don't just go from this point to that point. We go off course, back, and we just touch back into being on course, and we go off course, touch back in. And so there's this zigzag. Do you remember that image?
You know, I not sure if I do remember that image, but I have seen it in other places. And it's
Okay.
very true, where it isn't a straight line or it isn't straight up. It's always up and down. And so, yeah, I've seen that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I hold that visual that even though I may not feel so on track, I know I'll get back on track. And it's progress is getting to the destination. That visual helps me so much, and that it's okay to get off track. We just get back on.
Right. Exactly. So what else? What else do you want to share with the audience?
What do I want to share? What I really want to share is that we are all powerful beyond belief, powerful beyond what we can currently even imagine. And I hear it all the time. You know, clients I've worked with, I ask them after we work together, did you imagine you would become the person you are today? And they always say no. And so with respect to setting goals, should we not set goals then and just become the unimaginable us? No, we still need to set goals. Of course, we need to have things to strive for. But in actual truth, you are much more powerful than you can imagine. The greatness of your being is much greater than you can imagine. And we are all meant to shine brightly in our own unique way. And what gets in the way of that are energy blocks. And what are energy blocks? You know, as you know, I do chakra readings. So I can see where the energy is flowing as light throughout your being, what your superpowers are, where your strengths are. And then I see where the energy is blocked or not flowing very well. And so healing to me is accessing those blocks and moving that energy without having to relive situations. The energy that's blocked within us are emotions that we couldn't complete earlier in life, always in our early childhood, even in the womb. And so it's a matter of accessing that, just touching into it enough to get the energy to move, and then we can reprogram the subconscious. We are living from our subconscious selves all the time, and developing the skills to learn how to access that in your own unique way. I use the full breath because it changes the brain function. Hypnotherapy helps in certain respects. There's lots that we can do, shamanism, different practices. To me, the full breath is the easiest, and that's how I developed the Azarius energy healing. And so it really is knowing that whoever you are now, you're destined for so much more. The greatness of your being is just waiting to shine out. And it's doing that uncomfortable work that allows you to move into a higher state of being that you can't even currently imagine.
So getting back to grit, guts, and courage and talking about challenges that people have in life, what do you see them as? Like, do you see them as things that we're supposed to learn from, or do you see it as that we're supposed to play victim role? Like, what do you see them as, like, challenges?
Challenges are opportunities. Challenges are always trying to show us something. And I believe that the greatest souls on earth have the greatest challenges. I mean, people that come into the world with that face so much trauma and difficulties, those are the older souls. Like when I do chakra readings, I can see, oh, you are one old soul. You have a lot to accomplish. So the people that have the most to accomplish in this lifetime have the greatest challenges. So it's hard to look at our challenges always from that perspective. The easy route is going to victim role. I was a pro at that. Oh, woe is me. My husband's abusive, blah, blah, blah. And my early childhood, all that stuff. Looking at it as an opportunity. What can I learn from this? How is this helping me grow? Because every challenge helps us develop the muscles. So when I finally left my ex-husband, I started to develop the muscles of resilience, right? When I was afraid to speak on a stage, whether it's online or in person, I had to develop my throat chakra to a whole new level. I mean, I wrote the book on it. It's throat chakra issues keep coming up. And I took it as, okay, this is an opportunity to grow and develop the muscles to become the person I'm meant to be, to live the life that my soul wants me to live and accomplish, my soul's purpose. So everything, if we can, and I think a lot of times we can go into victim mode and lick our wounds, and it serves us in that we can touch into our pain, because the pain helps us move. So we touch into the pain. We don't need to stay there. It's allowing the pain to move, and then we can rise up to a whole new level of being. So yeah, life throws us challenges, and I find that the more people become evolved, the bigger challenges, the more they step into service, the bigger the challenges become, because there's a match. And so if you can try and think of it, as human as we are, as an honor to face our challenges, it really is a privilege. It's, the old school thing to say, it's the school of life. And that's, and to embrace it and go, okay, what do I need to do here?
Right. I get it, because, there's a lot of burn survivors out there where, they get burnt and they play that victim role, like, poor me, I can't believe this happened to me, my life is over. And then there's a whole other group of burn survivors that are like, okay, yeah, this happened to me, what can I do about it? And they become speakers or authors or coaches, and, inspire people to see that their challenge is not really a horrible thing, right? Their challenge can be a great thing. And it can be used to empower people, or it can be used to hold yourself back. So I love how you talk about that. I mean, we're always going to face challenges, but what are we going to do about those challenges? That's the key thing.
Right. How can we grow from it? That is the thing. How I ask myself, how is this serving me? What do I need to see in this? I mean, I can't imagine being burned. Your story is so compelling, and yet facing death is extremely difficult, and that has happened to me twice in my life. And so it's finding that time. Like, was there a time for you, a specific time, that you made a decision? I think that's it. There's a time, a pivotal point in time, that something shifts in us, and we know that change is required, and we somehow know that we can do it.
Yeah, we can get through it. Exactly. Okay, so what's the work that you do?
Oh, the work I do is healing and empowerment. So I'm able to read people's energy, which I love doing. And it's so insightful. And most people say, wow, you were bang on. It really is the universe coming through me to let people know so much information about them, and what their challenges are and what they can do. I can give people steps. And then I have various programs that are really all about healing and empowerment and becoming that unimaginable you. So my throat chakra program, we work with the chakras, and I love to help people express who they truly are. And I used to do it as a group program, and now for some time I've been working with people one-on-one, and I love that, because I feel like people that come to me for that particular work, we just go so deep, so fast, and get through it, and they come out and they're different. And I teach people the skills, how to become your own energy worker. And at one point in time, one of my clients said to me, well, I had a number of clients asking me, when are you going to teach the type of energy healing that you do? And I kept saying, oh yeah, one day I will. And then one client in particular, Stacy, asked me, and I knew she was an energy healer, And I knew beyond the shadow of a doubt, it was time for me to start teaching. So it's something I love to do. I teach a certification program. Many people say it's like Reiki on steroids. And so it's really empowering healers in the world and to do this type of work. And I always have to laugh at some point. The students start saying, wow, this is more than just teaching us skills. This is about us. It's about helping us evolve to a much higher state of being, a much higher level, and become, really clear beings so that the universe can heal through us. And I've done a lot of different modalities, a lot of training where you do an energy healing session, or I have a diploma in acupressure, whatever it is. And it's always, don't take on other people's stuff and wash it off and, all that sort of thing. And no, it is not the way. When we get ourselves into a much higher state of being, we can heal anything. We can transform any energy. So I actually, through that type of energy healing, bring other people's pain into my being.
Wow.
In an altered state, and give it back to them cleared. It's not just me doing it. And it's the number one practice that I teach, and people become so good at it. And they're often so surprised, blown away by the type of healing that they're able to do, because it's all based in unity consciousness or oneness. We really are all one. So if we think we're washing somebody else's stuff off us, well, good luck with that, because we're all one. We are all one. And so separation is an illusion. And then I have my client magnet program, and I've just started teaching a 1-year spiritual leadership program to existing students. You won't find any information on that one. It was invite only. And so I feel so honored to help others become the spiritual leaders they're born to be. And then I do, and this is so dear to my heart, breakthrough retreats. So 5 intensive days where people are on retreat doing practices. We do practices 3 sessions ahead of time before the 5-day retreat, and then 2 follow-up sessions afterwards. And I do chakra readings on each participant every day, give them their practices. And the readings are really to help them fully understand their progress. And then I can make recommendations. So it's partly silent. There's some talking, we're together as a group, and then a lot of going deep, going inward on your own. And I love doing those. I have another one coming up in July.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to hear more about that one. So, okay, Cheryl. So, how can people get in touch with you?
Oh, they can find out about me through starofdivinelight.com. And that is probably the easiest. I'm just starting to, I could put a link to my, do you want me to, well, I can put links in
You
here.
put the link in, and you can also say it too if you can.
Yeah. And so I have a link to my new ACE method. And this is not on my website, so you won't find this anywhere. And this really helps people, I'll put all of these in here, helps people do the work that I do. If you want to do it on your own, if you want to give this a go, it really is beneficial. If you have some healing and empowerment that you'd like to do for yourself. So there's all my links. And the ACE method goes through in detail how to access your subconscious blocks, how to clear them, and how to empower yourself to get the energy flowing in a lot better way. You can also hop onto my website, Star of Divine Light Institute. So it's starofdivinelight.com, and have a look and see what I'm doing and what's happening over there. Yeah. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, the usual social media.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Cheryl. So there you go, guys. There's another episode of the Grit, Guts, and Courage show. And stay tuned for the next one.
Thank you, Kelly.
You are very welcome.